What happens when you put a career-focused woman with 2 kids trying to balance home and work life in a room with a microphone? Lots of laughter, tears, and great advice. Welcome to 2 Kids and a Career. I always like to say on my radio show, celebrities, they're just like us, only a whole lot richer. Yes, a whole lot richer. And there's always a celebrity you can connect with. And it doesn't necessarily mean you connect with them on everything in their life, but maybe different parts of their life. And that's why I wanted to dedicate this episode to Hoda Kotb. And if you don't know Hoda is one of the co-anchors of The Today Show with Savannah Guthrie. And she also has her extended show with Jenna Hager-Bush. It's the Hoda and Jenna show. It used to be Hoda and Kathy Lee, but Kathy Lee retired. And to be honest, I never really spent a lot of time getting to know who Hoda was or investing a lot of time in her. But when she opened up about the adoption of her first daughter, Haley, who's now 2, I started to connect with her because my oldest daughter is 2.5. And some of the things that Hoda was saying just made me so happy. And I just connected with her. And the thing is, too, with Hoda, you look at her on TV and she's always smiling and she's so happy and she's so positive. And that's what I want in my life. I want positivity. I want her to just be my friend. She just is awesome. She just makes me feel like I can do more in this world and that I can be a better person. And it's just by seeing her on TV and seeing the way she interacts with people and her sharing her life story. So the background with Hoda and the adoption. So she had a situation where she battled breast cancer, and it was about 10 years ago, and it left her unable to conceive. And she was married, and that marriage fell apart. But she always knew she wanted to have a child. And she didn't understand why she couldn't have a child. And she didn't want to give up that dream of becoming a mom. So she said, you know, why can't I be a mom? I can do this. So when she realized that she could be a mom, she decided to talk to her longtime boyfriend, Joel, about adoption. And he was on board. So she then went on to say she was really, really afraid to say it out loud to him because then it was real. She knew that this is what she wanted to do, that they were going to move forward, that a baby was going to be a part of their life. And I mean, when you make that decision, even when you say it out loud, it is a game changer. You're like, oh, okay, we just made that decision. We want to have a child. So fast forward, and they ended up having a brand new daughter come into their homes February 2017. And her name is Haley Joy. And I remember when Hoda went on and told her coworkers about Haley and just how proud and beaming and emotional she was, that she was so filled with happiness because of this baby. And I just blame it on the hormones a little bit too, because Lou wasn't that old, but I was feeling the same way, that this life comes into your world and everything changes. 100%. Everything changes. So I felt when I would see Hoda on TV and when I would see her share pictures of Haley Joy, there was a part of me that was just connecting with her. And I know I wasn't the only mom that was connecting with her, but I just felt a little bit closer to Hoda. And then she announces earlier in April that she has baby number 2. Haley Joy is a sister to Hope Catherine. And I saw that news and just immediately teared up. And again, it might be because of the hormones from my second daughter. But then all of a sudden, I'm connected to Hoda even more. We both have girls that are about the same age. And she was talking about how Haley was so proud to be a big sister. And actually, the morning that she called into the Today Show to make the announcement, she said that Haley was trying to feed Hope raspberries. And Hoda was like, oh, we have a little bit of time for that. But I felt the connection again with Hoda because Lou loves being a big sister. She loves her little sister. I remember the first day we got Charlie home, and I mean, every time she cried, Lou was up, even if it was 4 a.m. She was so concerned. So just seeing and hearing the way Hoda described the relationship already with her 2 kids, with the pictures, and then obviously talking about it on the Today Show, again, connection. I did a little digging and went into an article that was posted on the Today Show that revealed a little bit more about Hoda and her boyfriend Joel and their adoption of their second baby girl. And she talked about feeling that she was just full. Her heart was full when it was Haley and her and Joel, but she had been thinking about the adoption of a second baby. And she said in the moments when the second baby did enter this world, her heart immediately grew, and she just knew that her heart wasn't completely full. And that's a whole nother thing that we could talk about, what you feel when you make that decision to have a second baby. All of these things that you think with your first, like, can I love another one as much as I loved the first? And will my heart be able to grow in size because you just love your first so much? But anyway, so I related to Hoda on that. Something else about this story that I connected with Hoda, she said that her and Joel knew that they wanted Haley to have a sister. She said, quote, "I think having a sister to go through life with is so important. Joel and I are older parents, and I wanted to make sure there was somebody to witness her life," end quote. And I have a sister who is my best friend, and that was what I wanted for Lou. I really did think we were one and done. And then when the opportunity did present itself to bring that up, that's what I kept thinking. I kept thinking, I know what it's like to have a sibling. I want Lou to have a sibling, whether it's a sister or a brother. I want someone for her to do life with, because Brian and I are considered older parents in comparison to our friends. And I thought about that. I thought about, okay, what happens to Lou if she's alone? And you know what? She could be completely fine as an only child. There's nothing wrong with that. Not at all. It was just something that I thought about. And that's where I connected with Hoda. And again, I just want to be her friend and hug her. In a way, I feel like we're friends because she is just that kind of person. She just makes you feel like you're her friend, even if you don't know her. Speaking of friends, I don't know if you know the background behind the name that Hoda and Joel gave their second daughter. Hope Catherine is her name, and her name was inspired really by their yearning to have another child. And Hoda said that the word hope had appeared in her journal, quote, about 10 million times, end quote, as she wrote about her wish to adopt a second child. And she recognizes there's so many women out there hoping for their child, whether they conceive, whether they adopt. She knows that hope is constantly on their mind. And so she just knew that that word had more meaning than it does to most people. Now, Hope's middle name, Catherine, is in honor of her best friend, Karen. And her 15-year-old daughter's name is Catherine. Karen and Hoda have such an awesome friendship. They were recently on an episode of Hoda and Jenna. It was Best Friends Day, and they both brought their best friends on. And just seeing those two interact, it was just awesome. And I can only imagine what it would feel like to have your daughter be the middle name of your best friend's daughter. So I feel really connected with Hoda. And maybe it's not Hoda you feel connected with, but my whole point to this episode is celebrities are there for so many different reasons. And a lot of it's just to make us common folk feel a little bit better about ourselves, or know that they go through the same things that we do. I mean, it's very easy to assume that a celebrity doesn't have any problem to face because they're rich and they're famous, and that's far from the truth. So for me, just the pure delight with Hoda and her two girls. We connected on that, and her wanting her daughters to have one another because of her age, just little things like that. I just, again, want positivity in my life, and Hoda just radiates that for me. So again, maybe it's not Hoda you connect with. Maybe it's another celebrity. Pink has been so awesome with talking about her different struggles with her marriage. And she recently opened up about a miscarriage that she had at the age of 17. And so when I see a celebrity open up about a struggle they had that you or I potentially could have or have had, it just makes me happy, because there's a lot of so-called celebrities that are doing not so great at things and using their fame and fortune in a way that they really shouldn't, in my opinion. If you are looking for someone to follow that just radiates positivity and will put a smile on your face every day, follow Hoda on Instagram. Thank you for joining me for today's episode. Make sure you subscribe, rate, and if you're feeling really generous, write me a review. And don't forget to join me next week for a new episode of Two Kids and a Career.